Will you believe that a human being could fight with God and survive? Sounds impossible, right? But this actually happened. Jacob, the son of Isaac and grandson of Abraham, wrestled with God one night and came out alive. What led to this strange event, and how did it change his life forever? Let's find out. Genesis 32 verses 22 to 32. Long ago, in the land of Canaan, there was a man named Jacob. His life was full of struggles right from the start. When he was born, he came out holding the heel of his twin brother, Esau, as if trying to be the firstborn. That moment, though simple, set the tone for Jacob's entire life. A life full of competition, striving, and fighting for what he wanted. His name itself, which means supplanter or deceiver, would prove to be prophetic. From a young age, Jacob demonstrated a clever mind, but often his cleverness led him down the wrong path. One of the earliest and most well-known moments of deception was when he tricked his older brother, Esau, into selling his birthright for a mere bowl of lentil stew. Esau, exhausted from a long day, didn't think much of it and agreed. But Jacob's actions would have long-lasting consequences. Later, Jacob used deceit again to steal Esau's blessing, disguising himself as Esau in front of their blind father, Isaac. In that moment, Jacob claimed the blessing meant for Esau, forever changing the course of both brothers' lives. When Esau discovered the betrayal, his anger was so intense that he vowed to kill Jacob. Fearful for his life, Jacob fled from his home and traveled to a distant land, where he spent many years working, building wealth, marrying, and raising a family. But despite his success, there was still a deep restlessness within Jacob. He knew that one day he would have to return home to face the consequences of his actions, particularly Esau, whom he had wronged so many years ago. Jacob had become wealthy, yet he still carried the burden of his past deceit. After years of separation, Jacob decided it was time to return home. His heart was heavy with fear and uncertainty. He had heard that Esau was coming to meet him, and not alone. He was bringing 400 men with him. What did this mean? Was Esau still furious, seeking revenge? Or had time healed the wounds of the past? Jacob could not be certain, and so he devised a plan to protect himself. First, he sent ahead a lavish gift of livestock, hoping that Esau would be softened by the gesture. Then, in an attempt to reduce the risk of total destruction, Jacob divided his family and servants into two separate groups. This way, if Esau attacked one group, the other might be able to escape. But no matter how much he planned, Jacob knew he couldn't control the outcome. All he could do was prepare for the worst. Finally, on the eve of his meeting with Esau, Jacob found himself alone by the Jabbok River. He sent everyone else across the river, hoping to find some peace and solitude. It was in this moment of isolation, under the quiet of the night, that the most extraordinary event in Jacob's life would unfold. As Jacob settled down, uncertain and perhaps even nervous about what the next day would bring, something unexpected happened. A man suddenly appeared and began to wrestle with him. This wasn't a casual scuffle. It was a fierce battle, one that stretched on for hours. Jacob, a man who had been through many struggles in his life, was no stranger to hard fights, but this one was different. The strength of the man he was wrestling with was like nothing he had ever encountered. Despite the pain and exhaustion, Jacob would not let go. No matter how much the stranger tried to overpower him, Jacob clung to him, refusing to give up. As dawn began to break, the man reached out and touched Jacob's hip, dislocating it in an instant. The pain was excruciating, but still, Jacob would not release the grip he had on the man. The struggle had become more than just a physical contest. It had become a fight for something deeper. The man then spoke, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob, with unwavering determination, answered, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." It was at this moment that the man asked, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he replied. Then the stranger spoke words that would forever change Jacob's life. "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men and have overcome." Jacob was stunned. The realization slowly dawned on him. This wasn't just any man. This was God himself, appearing in human form. Jacob had wrestled with God. The man had not only revealed his power by dislocating Jacob's hip with a mere touch, but had also revealed his grace and mercy by allowing Jacob to prevail. Jacob had not been defeated in spirit, and in that moment, he understood that his perseverance had led him to an encounter with the divine. In awe, Jacob named the place Peniel, meaning the face of God, because he had seen God face to face and had survived. Despite the pain and the limp that would forever remind him of the night's struggle, Jacob knew that he had experienced something extraordinary, something that would shape him into a new man. His faith had been tested and had emerged victorious. The man, who had been God in disguise, blessed Jacob one final time before disappearing with the coming light of dawn. Jacob limped away from the encounter, his physical body marked by the fight, but his soul and identity had been forever transformed. No longer was he the deceiver, the man who had swindled his brother. Now he was Israel, a man who had fought with God and prevailed, a man chosen by God to lead a great nation. Jacob's transformation was not just external. It was a profound spiritual awakening. The name Israel would become the name of the nation that descended from him, the nation that would be known as the people of God. And the story of his struggle would be a lesson for generations to come. This night of wrestling was more than just a physical contest. It was a symbolic moment in Jacob's life, a representation of the inner battles that he had fought for years and the spiritual victory that awaited him. Just as Jacob wrestled with his past, with his fears, and with his doubts, we too face struggles in life. There are moments when it feels like we are fighting an overwhelming force, unsure of how we will make it through. But the story of Jacob reminds us that these moments are not without purpose. The struggles we face, even when they seem impossible to overcome, can lead us to a deeper understanding of who we are and who God is. Jacob's encounter with God is a reminder that in our greatest struggles, we may find our greatest blessings. If we hold on, if we press forward with faith, we too can come out stronger, transformed by the very challenges that seem to threaten us. In conclusion, Jacob's wrestling match with God was not just a story of physical survival. It was a story of spiritual survival. It was a story of holding on when everything seemed impossible. The night he wrestled with God marked a turning point in his life. His struggle, though painful, led to his new identity, a blessing, and the beginning of a legacy that would shape the future of Israel. As we face our own struggles, let us remember Jacob's story. When life seems like an unending fight, when we feel broken or defeated, it's important to keep going, to hold on, and to trust that God has something greater in store for us. Our blessings may be just around the corner, if we can only hold on long enough to receive them. Like Jacob, when we wrestle with our challenges, we don't have to do it alone. God is with us in the struggle, and through him, we can emerge victorious. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so by hitting the bell notification icon, comment, like, and share. Thank you.